All right, today I'm joined by an Austin-based artist who's quietly building one of the most exciting careers in modern rock, killer guitar tones, real riffs, and now a brand new single that blends 70s swagger with modern production. She's shared stages with bands like Tool, the Gaslight Anthem, and now she's back with Lips alongside Jesse Hughes from Eagles of Death Metal. That's pretty cool. I'm joined by Emily Wolfe. Emily, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Thanks for having me. Stoked to be here.
I'm stoked as well. This new single, Lips, feels like a big moment. What was different about creating this one compared to your past work?
This one was completely different than the way that I've done anything. I have a lot of music out and my back catalog is very like just me kind of I've had producers in the past, but it's very like okay, I write the songs myself. I sit in my room, I do all the parts myself, and then I go to the studio and then I record it. But this one was like very collaborative, which I haven't done like a lot of um, for my own stuff. Like I've done collaborations for other things, but this was like the first collab that I did like truly we didn't have the song written before the studio and then got together and wrote this thing and it was born in the studio, which was like nuts because I've never done it that way. But it was awesome. I loved it. It was so fun.
You mentioned in previous interviews, this was like a full circle moment for you. When did that really hit you in the studio?
I think it was like when I when I saw him walking up towards me to say like to meet me. So it was like outside the studio, and he had like this wild outfit on, his crazy platform boots and like suspenders, and immediately like he all he said was like tattoos. I love this shit, and then we just like hit it like that was it. I was like, wow, that's the dude that I've watched. I watched so many of his shows in Austin and like always thought he was so cool and like had so much swagger um and I was like, here he is. Now I'm gonna write with him. That's crazy.
Yeah, so you grew up listening to Jesse. What was it like going from fan to collaborating? Of course, that stash is real in person, right?
Yeah, it's full and it's like it's important, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, gosh, I mean, it was great. It was like because man, it's crazy. I had like all these ideas in the studio. And as soon as he sat down with his like guitar and started strumming along to something, it immediately sounded like Eagles of Death Metal. And I was like, this is crazy. Like he's got such an identifiable sound in like his note choices on guitar and like his melodies lyrically and all this stuff. Like it's crazy like how instantly Eagles of Death Metal it sounded. Um and so it was cool to witness that like just because like it I had only ever heard it on records before, and then I was in the room with the guy watching it unfold. um yeah, and it was awesome. Like he ended up really guiding me through this part of my identity in the studio that I hadn't tapped into yet. um so it was awesome.
Yeah, so he was like kind of like a mentor for you in the studio. I think that's something you mentioned in something I read or I heard in the past. Was there a moment during this recording, like I know besides the sound of like, hey, this guy's guitar, whatever he touches sounds like Eagles of Death Metal, like that you thought this is actually happening?
Yeah. Yeah. That like I don't know if you've ever experienced those moments in your life where you're like kind of like you're tired and you haven't eaten and everything around you is sort of blurry and you're like, I feel like I'm in a dream. Like there were so many moments in that like weekend that we worked together where I was like I had to like really remind myself like this is real. It's reality, you know? Um so yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
So Lips like ended up being a track that has like this 70s, 80s swagger, but still sounds modern. Like, how intentional was that balance? Can you tell us?
Yeah, it was pretty. I feel like it was pretty intentional because like the the thing that I kept coming back to was gosh, what is it? That Eddie Money song, Take Me Home Tonight. And I was like, God, I want to write a song like that. It's so just like simple and it really just hooks you. And it's just like it says the thing, you know? And so that song was almost like a response to it, or like some kind of like, you're not going home. Like, we're not going home. You're staying. Like, so it was very kind of a play on that idea. And then Gavin Brown, of course, the producer for it, had written like a lot of it, the guitars and stuff like that, and the drums and everything. And then, you know, I put the lyrics on it, and then Jesse went into the booth and put his chorus on it. So it was really this like whole kind of collaborative thing. Um, and yeah, we just kept like we were just eating sushi, coming back to this Eddie Money song, and I was God, it's just like there's like something really primal about it and like erotic, and I like want to go there, and they were like, let's go there. So that's kind of how it was born, you know.
You've spent over a decade building this guitar-driven identity. Did, did you feel always like, did you always know that this would be your lane, or did you just kind of like ride the pine until, you just figured it out?
Yeah, well, actually I didn't. I started my career as an acoustic act, so it was just me and an acoustic guitar. And I would do a bunch of shows, like a bunch of solo shows. And I played electric my whole life leading up to it, but like for some reason that's kind of the thing that I started off doing, like singer songwriter stuff. And there was like a moment where I kept doing these shows, and like people kept talking over me, and I was like, this sucks, dude. If I can be louder than them, I'm gonna do it, and then I won't have to like feel like ignored, you know? So like that was kind of like my pivot. I was like, I'm gonna get an amp, I'm gonna get an electric guitar, I'm gonna turn it up, and then I'm just gonna rock and like ignore all of this. So that's kind of like still what I do. Like, you know, not in a I'm not like ignoring the crowd per se, but I do like go into a zone that's like this is just mine. Um, so yeah, there's been like a whole kind of evolution, but that's like why I transitioned to rock. So
Well, fast forward to today, you've got signature models with Gibson and Epiphone. Like, at some
thanks,
point, like, I think you're doing something right. You were
thanks.
even asked to open up for Tool and found out that Adam Jones was already a fan of yours. Like, what was your reaction? Like, holy moly, right?
It was crazy. Like I didn't. I had just finished this show in I think it was South Carolina. It was either North or South. Um, but like I had been on the road for a few weeks leading up to this, and like the show was fine, you know. I was exhausted, and I was just getting back in the van, and I see this text from Cesar, and he like Adam and I are both Gibson artists, so um, the CEO of Gibson was like, "Do you want to open for Tool?" And I was like, "Yes, yes, I do." Um, and so then that happened, and I had a call with their team, and I think they wanted to make sure that I wasn't crazy. So they were like, "All right, great. We just wanted to like talk to you, and you know, be at this show, and we'll see you there." And I was like, "This is crazy." And so yeah, like having Adam Jones be the guy that was like, "You should open," like I'm like, "Huh?" Like it's I mean, it's amazing. It's crazy, and we've stayed friends for, you know, since then. And I'll text him every now and then. You know, stay at his house with his fam, and he's like the sweetest guy.
Hey, you know what? Like, I would probably like if I got a text like that. I have a lot of friends that just play me, and like I look at text like for like a day before I respond back, and like stuff like that would be like, holy moly, right? Like, is this for
Yeah.
real?
Yeah.
Um, Really surreal to get to experience that. And of course, you've toured with some big names already. Like, what's been the biggest level up moment for you so far?
Gosh, there have been so many like ones that have meant so much to me. Tool was definitely up there. I think my I think my biggest one was probably with Hart and Joan Jett. Like that was I think 12,000 people, sold
Cool.
out show at like the Cajun Dome in Louisiana. Um and like the venue was so big that like it didn't look real, you know? Like I was on stage and I looked out and I was like this looks like if I were to put on like virtual reality glasses and just
Yeah.
um so that
And
was
the
like
sphere kind of
awesome.
thing, that perspective.
Yeah. And then of course like these shows coming up with Youngblood are really big because um he's incredibly relevant right now. He's exploded onto like every, you know, every outlet. He's just everywhere. And it's awesome. Like it's cool to see somebody who does rock and he's just like, you know, right there in your face. And it's like truly, I think it's helping rock just become like more and more um, of like a knee jerk, you know, thing for people to gravitate towards. And yeah, like, because I have opened for these like amazing artists and like legendary people. But I think with Youngblood, it's like he's so kind of in this era that that's like such a big deal. So yeah, that'll be really exciting.
Now going out with Youngblood and the Warning, I feel like this lineup is a really good match made in heaven for Youngblood and like, the Warning, and even you, like obviously doing a few shows. What are you most excited to bring to those audiences?
Man, I think I'm excited to like bring almost like a middle ground to the bill, like because you've got like Youngblood and he's got almost this like pop songwriting sensibility, but then there's rock to it, and then like the Warning is just like shred masters, but then like I'm kind of right in the middle between those, so like I feel like there's kind of a hopefully a crossover between hopefully I'm like the Venn diagram with those two bands, but um yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to like see what his audience is like. Because I know they're like rabid fans, and uh, I know that they feel very safe and protected when they're in the presence of this person, and so I'm excited to experience that. You know.
There's definitely something really cool happening right now in rock, whether it's like blending of genres, whether we're going over to the country music and them coming over to us and hopping in our boots. But is rock missing something right now that you could kind of pick out of your hat or out of your mind, maybe thought about it in the past that you could just say, hey, we really need this or still need it?
You know, I haven't. The only thing I can think is like when you like go back and listen to like Black Sabbath or you know Poison or like all these like really kind of like staple bands from back in the day before I was born and all this stuff like I feel like there's something that people want like I want to as a person who likes rock I would love to see you know the next like Van Halen or like the next you know Ozzy obviously um and I don't necessarily know if we have seen that, but maybe we have and I haven't seen it myself. But um yeah, there's something really magical about like the 70s and 80s and like 90s. Like, you know, I would love to see the next Nirvana. That'd be sick. Um
Yeah. I mean, like I always think to myself is like we're always looking to see who the next like Ozzy or Van Halen, like you mentioned, is, but are we still we're still in that kind of era where we've seen them, but like who is the is Metallica the the band of our generation, like in this, for say like time frame, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think in general, like I don't know if they'll ever repeat that moment in time, like the 70s, even the 60s, with all the super groups and like the legendary bands, the 80s, and just the evolution of music has come so far. And something that, I was doing earlier was talking about legendary bands. And people were like, well, you should be talking about Fleetwood Mac. It's like, well, yeah, but the last 30 years, no one's accounted for them. So there's just so many legendary bands and legendary albums that have dropped up until now, that have,
Yeah.
new metal albums, rock albums, of course. Like, so it's a very subject question, right? In regarding to what rock is missing right now is maybe just a couple clean pushes. Like up here in Canada, it's like the same songs are played on the radio constantly, but there's no clean push for other bands, right?
Wow, yeah.
Until somebody latches onto it, and then it snowballs. But what's one thing that you think the industry gets wrong about rock artists?
Mm. Gosh, that's a really good question. I think, man, no one's ever asked me this. There is a lot, there's a lot that the industry gets wrong. Um, I specifically, like, I think, like, it's an undervalued genre, like, financially. Like, tickets for Harry Styles and Sabrina Carpenter are like through the roof, right? And then if you want to go see a rock band, $50. So it's like, but and I'm not knocking pop. I love pop. I love these artists that I just mentioned, but I do think there needs to be some kind of different like ticket thing. Like either that's gotta like come down, like the pop, or like rock's gotta go up or something. Like, but then again, on the other hand, it's like rock is accessible because the tickets are less expensive. And, um, but I do think it's an undervalued genre uh, altogether.
And the music can be better doing rock,
Yeah.
way better, in fact, where people actually have somewhat creative control of what they're putting out there. Um,
Mm.
there's a lot of things that maybe you believed early in your career that you don't believe anymore. Is there one thing that you could mention to me that, like, I know when I first started in music and trying to make it as a musician, I was thinking it was very easy, to sign to a record label. And obviously there was a few meetings and hey, things didn't happen. So,
Yeah.
um, there's a lot of crazy things that happen in people's careers that they really believe, like they have like a maybe like a naive look at how things actually are, right? And when they have a reality check, for a lot of musicians, it can really like open their eyes and how it actually can be for them and what they have to do. So what's something that you believed early in your career that you don't believe anymore?
Man, I'm in the same boat. Like when I started, I was like, give me a couple years and it'll be good. Like I'll be blessed, I'll have people paying my cell phone bill. Like I was so naive. Like and none of that happened. I was rejected by every label ever, up until like 2020 where I signed with an independent label and then now I have signed with Judge and Jury. But before that, it was like I didn't realize how much rejection there would be. Um, and I really did think it would be easier. But now, like actually, like really quickly, that whole idea crumbled. um, and I realized like, okay, there's not going to be an overnight thing. There's not going to be one big break. Like it's all like one like stepping stone, and the stepping stones are super shallow, and it's going to be so long, and it has been so long. But like I do think, as painful sometimes as it can be to do this long game, um, and like all the emotions that come with that. I do think it's important that, I've built this foundation on just like DIY, like learn everything you can about the industry, learn about royalties and managers and booking agents and all the things that come with it, and like building up a career that way is so much more sustainable than like when I originally started. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go for it. It's gonna like be so easy. Like it's gonna be great, Like I just, I was like kind of an idiot like when I first started. Um, but yeah, I think that's it. So there's that, and then there's also, um, for the longest time, I thought like, okay, I need to do all this myself. Um, I need to write myself, record myself, produce. Like literally all of this has to be just me, or else it's not authentic. That was like this weird mentality I had when I started. And now, like it's taken me this long to collaborate with somebody and like feel like it's okay to like hand the keys over for a second to somebody, because like, I mean, this is probably the most successful release I've ever had, and it was a collaboration. And so that's one lesson that I've learned too, is like it's about team. It's about the team and the people around you, and having the right people around you and people that you look up to, and like you don't have to do it all yourself. Like obviously, like learn everything you can and be independent, but like as far as, you know, if a collaboration is going to get you to another level, like go for it.
Yeah, sometimes those like little victories, they're good to kind of celebrate, but sometimes they're victories and then they're actually duds, right? So it's like
Yeah.
just an up and down kind of thing, like a wave, and it just dies off. And so you always have to take accomplishments and like just not get too cocky about it and
Yeah.
not think about it too much. Just keep on going. I think that's one of the things that I would really recommend for a lot of people is like just keep on going, right? Don't let
Yeah.
things stop you. Just ignore the noise because obviously take feedback. I think that's one thing that people they don't actually listen to is the feedback, right? And that's why there's so many people out there to help you out and not just you doing it yourself. Like producing a show or producing a show on stage is hard enough to do on your own. So
Yeah.
now, for
Yeah.
someone hearing you for the first time through Lips, so what's the next song they should go and listen to right now?
Next song they should listen to is a song called Crave Me, which came out the day before Lips came out. So that one wasn't a collaboration. It's just me and the producer Gavin wrote this together, and um, it's actually about touring, and just how intense touring can be, and like, um, but it's really fun at the same time. And if you're trying to speed down the highway and blast some music, that's probably the right one to pick.
Emily, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Meet Me for Coffee. I'd love to invite you back. Of course, after this busy schedule you're about to embark on. Um,
Yeah,
so the
that'd be
show's
great.
called Meet Me for Coffee. I asked everybody this question. I ask them. You can go back every episode. How do you take your coffee? Do you drink coffee?
Dude, you know what's crazy is I don't
Dun,
drink
dun, dun.
coffee. I drink I drink Celsius and Diet Coke. Not in the I don't drink Diet Coke in the morning, but I drink Celsius every morning. Because there's something about coffee that if I have more than like two sips of it, it makes me really tired. I don't know
Uh,
what it is. I have no idea. I wish I did drink it because it's like so accessible, and it's like, that's the thing. Like, you want to get coffee? Like, you know. Um, but if I did drink coffee, I feel like I would want to take it like three creams, two sugars. I would say
oh,
black, but I'm not that hard, you know.
you got to be hardcore. That's the
Yeah.
way it be. That's the way Oz used to drink his coffee, like just black and just chug the
Funny.
whole thing. I couldn't believe that when I saw it. But Emily, thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks for everything. Thanks for having me. Enjoy the rest of your night.